Hey guys, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 188 of Spotify and YouTube. Thank you guys for following, subscribing to the podcast, donating to the podcast, listening to the podcast. If you haven't already, there is a link on my Spotify and my YouTube episodes where you click on the link or copy and paste, and it takes you to a new window within Spotify, and it will ask you if you would like to donate to the podcast. And I think the minimum is like 99 cents a month or something. So anything's appreciated, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you for listening. Um, so on this episode, I'm gonna talk about two comedy shows. Um, there's a wild one. So I went to this one comedy show July 28th at the Mic Drop Comedy Club in Claremont Miss Boulevard. It is the 50 Shades of Brunch. So it's a play off of 50 Shades of Grey. And of course, um, I guess if you ever watched the movies or read the books, it's pretty much like, uh, I guess, what is it called? BDSM or something? Or yeah, what is it called? You got a lot of like rough sex or master and slave bondage. Um, really some kinky stuff, but I think I only watched like maybe the first one, and I kind of remember the second one, but I don't remember the third one actually. So, I mean, if you ever guys want to do a three movie marathon or something, I don't know if I would join you guys, but I'm always up to watch something kind of wild. So, but yeah, so on this comedy show, I did get some really good, I guess, brunch breakfast platter. But then you got scrambled eggs, you got bacon, you got sausage. Um, I believe there was some hash browns in it. Really tasty. It's called the Mic Drop Classic, and it's the best value for your brunch. So I gotta say, that particular breakfast, 9 out of 10. Really good stuff. Um, so for this particular comedy show, it's kind of a variety show. It has comics. It had comics Camille Waters, who was also hosting. You also have Vanessa Dawn. Um, I actually got a comic from LA to come down, and she was booked on the show. Helen Shepard. We also have Jeff Grooms. We also have Sammy Cantu. Um, oh yeah, we have I believe his name is Austin Truffalet. So got quite a lineup of comics, and we also incorporated a dating show, which was tied to the Mingle in real life. Um, and apparently there are two strippers, male strippers, for this variety show. So, by mentioning all of that, tied to 50 Shades of Brunch, 50 Shades of Grey, you got your brunch, breakfast platter, male strippers, 5 awesome comics, a dating show, and I guess it's a singles event, single mingle. So, uh, so Camille Waters came out. She had some she had some jokes related to 50 Shades. Uh, I guess the one that was pretty funny was the one where she talked about her friend who complained about how her husband doesn't respect her, doesn't love her or something, and she Camille asked why, and then her friend that she said she ate ass on the first date or the first night of marriage or something, and um, I guess Camille then says, "Well, I don't respect you now," and we should have gotten separate artichoke dips and chips since they're sharing the same one. Um, that was pretty hilarious. I would say her overall comedy. Um, I would say she was 8.5 out of 10. Um, and I think Camille had um, I want to say she um, what is it called? Um, I think she wore like a bustier or it's one of those what do you call it? Uh, I guess it's called. Yeah, I guess it is called a bustier, or one of those. What do you call it? It's like it's one of those tops that you wear underneath, and you have to pull and tie the strings to make it tight. So I guess it was used to be very popular back in the I want to say 1800s probably. Uh, yeah, I don't think it's called a halter top. I think it's called a bustier, um, brassiere. Um, yeah, it's supposed to kind of constrict your body. So yeah, Camille Waters wore something like that. Um, and so for the next comic that went up, her name was Vanessa Dawn. I've seen her quite a few times now. Pretty cool comic. She's from Seattle. Um, she talked about how she doesn't get invited to like sex parties or orgies, and she happens to be the type that would be asked for directions but not asked to go to the parties. So, and although there's kind of like there were some good laughs to it, but also there was kind of a mellow vibe to it as well. Um, so I would think that Vanessa was a 8.3 out of 10. Yeah. Um, I believe there was a oh wow. I believe there was an Austin Truffaut, and surprisingly, he was super funny. Um, he was actually the funniest person of the six, actually, and he did pretty well. And he talked about dating. Um, he might have mentioned something about cougars, so But overall, he did really well. I would say he was a 8.7 out of 10. Um, let's see. Um, we also had Jeff Grooms. Um, Jeff didn't do too bad. Um, he did talk about dating, but he does have a somewhat um, what do you call it? Um, he has a certain intimidating tone, but it feels like he's kind of just a little bit trying a little bit too hard um, during his set. And I mean, he has some good laughs, but it also did have a mixture of like chill moments too. So um, I want to say Jeff Grooms was I want to say an 8.1 out of 10. Um, we also had Helen Shepard. Um, I kind of had a little bit of a hand in helping her get on the show, and thanks to Camille and Jeff for getting her in there. Um, there really is some cool people, and I'm glad that Helen got on the show. So Helen got on. She talked about from being from the UK, and then she met this couple when she first moved to America, and I guess they were like super nice, but apparently, um, I think they loved her too much because apparently they viewed her as a unicorn, and of course, when a couple says that you're a unicorn, I guess that's slang that they're down for a three-way. So Helen says that she doesn't talk to them anymore or hang out with them, but I guess in a way that is kind of a compliment. You're hot enough to be part of a three-way. Um, so yeah, she did talk about when the first experiences when she came to LA from the UK, trying to find her way to Hollywood, um, be in auditions, movies, TV shows. So, um, but Helen did pretty well. She did get some good laughs during her set. Um, I did feel that she did kind of go off in a I don't know if I would say going off in a tangent, but she did kind of go for a little while, and I noticed that it wasn't getting any laughs though. But then when she did kind of pull it around, she did get some good punchlines for her stuff. So I want to say Helen was an 8.4 out of 10. So um, then we had Sammy Cantu, and well, the funny thing about Sammy Cantu is that right before he went up, there was a male stripper that went up by the name of Oscar, and I think the women liked him a lot more. Did some Magic Mike moves, um, and then some of the women were really into it. And then when it got to Sammy Cantu, he talked about popping a few buttons, doing a little strip tease. During his comedy, though, um, he talked about being like a model, having some commercials. He's the guy in the Dish Network commercials, actually. If you guys are familiar with those Dish commercials. Um, so he did talk about how he grew up Mexican and Asian, because he's mixed, and he said that um, it was hard for him to date when he was younger because he get burned or turned down because he said he was Asian, and there's like a stigma about Asians and dating. Um, but then he mentioned that, oh, I'm also Mexican too, and then he said like, that actually makes it worse, and everybody was laughing so hard at that joke. Um, that's probably his best one that I can remember. Um, he he also had some joke about being uncircumcised and how it's a lot harder and it's harder to get a blowjob enjoyment from it because there's that extra layer. Um, I guess you could say that kind of hits home. But overall, Sammy did really well. I want to say he was an 8.6 out of 10 for his comedy. And then guess what? At the end of his set, before he walked off the stage, he took off his shirt and he did his own Magic Mike moment and then went off the stage. So he had like about 3 to 5 seconds of Magic Mike male stripper vibe to it. So um, after this, after Sammy went up, there was another male stripper. He goes by the name King Stefan, and he did give a lap dance to Camille. He wouldn't let her get off the stage because I think he kind of enticed her to stay on stage and get to do his lap dance for her. And then, but that was the only great part about it because after that, I could tell that some women were kind of cringing for King Stefan, and he went into the crowd, and I noticed women got up and they kind of went away from King Stefan. So I think King Stefan, I think he was trying too hard, and the women weren't really into it that much. Hey guys, so the other comedy show I want to talk about is it's the Pally Wine Show, July 31st with Cash Habib, and that one was a really great show. As you know, Cash Habib, he does like 4 or 5 shows a week, a lot during any given month. He's all over the place. He does pick great venues though. He has a place out in Santee, La Mesa, North Park, Little Italy, Ash Street, downtown San Diego. So I always enjoyed really just going to his shows, and so I was long overdue to go to Cash's show. And one of the comics I was helping from LA to get exposure down here in San Diego, Patrick Raven, he was on the lineup along with Wendy Wilkins, Raul Zambrano. So we started with Cash Habib. Pretty sure he kind of had his usual jokes, a little bit of crowd work. I did come in during his a little late to the show because I was coming from like my laboratory job. He asked me why I was late, and the first thing I thought of was I was singing karaoke at a bar. And it's interesting how that was the first thing that came to mind. And I think Jesse, the sound guy, was like playing the womp womp. So that was fun. I always like to be a part of it. I actually was like eager to go up there too. And you put the microphone in my hand, and I told everybody why I was late. So that was fun. So I did hear Raul Zambrano doing his set. He did really well. Crowd liked him a lot.
In 2 miles, take exit 20 for California 163 South toward downtown.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty close. Alright, so Raul did get some good laughs throughout his set. Really, he did pretty well. I want to say Raul Zambrano was an 8.5 out of 10. Really funny guy. I believe we also had Wendy Wilkins. I've seen her twice now. One at the Privateer and one at the, I want to say, Comedy Heights. So she's really good. She talked about dating younger guys, and the fact that when she dates a younger guy, you know, you don't really have to really care about what they're thinking, which is kind of true. You think about it, and they got a lot of laughs actually. So Wendy Wilkins, she was an 8.75 out of 10.
In a quarter mile, take exit 20 for California 163 South toward downtown.
And then we got to see Patrick Raven. He brought his
take exit 20.
He brought his wife. And, well, he...
Continue on California 163 South for 3 miles.
He did a little rapping. He kind of acted out the fantasy allure of being a police officer, when in reality, it's something like that. And if you ever do whatever you see in the movies and TV shows as a police officer, you'll probably get killed in real life in a real shootout. So... that was pretty cool. Everybody liked it. I knew it. And you know, hopefully Cash makes him a regular as part of his rotation. Patrick Raven, I want to say he was a 9 out of 10. He actually jumped into the dirt in front of the stage as part of his to talk about the fantasy version of being a police officer, and how it's not real practical in a real shootout in real life as a police officer. So and also, by the way, I actually got to meet Patrick's wife, Susan. She's pretty awesome.
In 2 miles, use the right lane to take exit 3B toward I-8 West.
And it was pretty fun getting to know everybody in his group, and really appreciative of how I'm trying to help Patrick Raven in San Diego with comedy. So and then we got your headliner, then we got our headliner, Louie Centanni. I believe he had a few good old jokes that I remembered. Talked about when you shave your head.
In half a mile, use the right lane to take exit 3B toward I-8 West.
I guess I'm taking 8 West. I'm actually going to a comedy show, actually, in downtown. No, Old Town. Anywho, so Louie talked about the barbershop being bald and kind of made a big funny joke about, well, got to a point where
use the right lane to take exit 3B.
Didn't really ask like what kind of hair style do you want, and then just started trimming, and then he just said like, well, you didn't even ask me, but like there's not really much more you can do with this. So Louie talked about how he shaved his head. He talked about having a kid now. He's married. So all these like storytelling, life stories, it got really funny. And Louie was pretty great. It was always nice to see him again. And actually, nice to see everybody actually. So I want to say Louie Centanni.
In half a mile, take exit 3 toward Taylor Street, Hotel Circle.
I would say Louie Centanni was a 9.2 out of 10. Overall, great lineup. Everybody did so well. And the fact that everybody was super impressed with Patrick Rabin.
Take exit 3.
My friends, Lily and John, they enjoyed themselves. They laughed through the entire show. And
in a quarter mile, keep right at the fork. Follow signs for Morena Boulevard, Taylor Street.
So I'm pretty glad everything that worked out. So I'm glad I went to see Cash, got to see Jesse, got to see great comedy with
keep right at the fork.
Wendy, Patrick, Raul, Louie. It's just an overall great night of comedy, and I'm glad I got to see everybody and got to see a great show and brought people who had a good time. So
in half a mile, turn left onto Presidio Drive.
It really warms my heart to see how everything just turned out so well that night. So a great night at Patley Wine and great company, and you know, they have some great wine actually, guys. So if you guys are big wine connoisseurs, wine enthusiasts, this is the place for you. Patley Wine, Wednesday nights, comedy and wine. So you guys will have a good time out there. So that's it for me, guys. 188 episodes, can't believe it. So thank you for subscribing, following, donating to the podcast, and listening and spreading the word to all your friends and family. And I will talk to you guys later. Boom. Tiggy Maximus signing off. Baby. Bye, guys.